Good evening and thanks for joining us on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Zach Blanchard. We are getting into the thick of respiratory virus season. Public health experts say we will once again deal with the triple threat of flu, COVID-19, and RSV.
I sat down with Maine's new CDC director, Dr. Puthiery Va, to get a sense of her public health priorities.
I think the very first priority that was really obvious is, of course, public health emergency preparedness and response. And that was obvious because those were one of the lessons learned from the COVID pandemic. And then that was just across, like, all public health teams learned that. And not just public health at that point, right? It's like all of us could better be prepared, right? And so that is definitely one of my priorities. Like, okay, maybe the emergency phase of this COVID-19 pandemic is over, but how are we better prepared for any disaster that comes through comes across, right?
Disease X on the list, right?
Disease X or whatever it is, right? It could be a public health disaster, but it could be something else where health of a population is needed to be addressed. We need to look at that and figure out how can we be better prepared. The other that I see as an important public health priority is health equity and understanding disparities and strengths in populations too. Like, we always talk about disparities, right? Well, what if maybe some populations are doing some things right, right? How do we adopt that? And so, like, understanding that is also critical because, if we can understand that, then you can trickle it out to other illnesses, right? And then the third priority I would probably say is, like, the staff that had to respond, right? And so internally, I think that's really important to make it a priority.
And in a time when we've had all these projections about Maine facing a healthcare workforce shortage.
Exactly, right, exactly. And so, like, that is really important. We need to be able to recruit. We need to be able to retain. We have to address, the concerns of our staff and their mental well-being as well.
By the way, Dr. Va encourages everybody to get their flu and COVID vaccines. She also encourages people over the age of 60 and older, to get an RSV shot. Coming up at 6, I'll tell you more about her background, including her incredible journey to Maine and back again.